It's now time for Crime in the DMV, where we bring you the latest headlines from the week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sierra Fox. We start in Hyattsville, Maryland, where a woman was found guilty for the murder of her own mother. The gruesome crime happening more than a year ago after they had an argument related to fraudulent credit card charges. Fox 5's Tisha Lewis has the latest.
State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy came out and spoke after the guilty verdict on all accounts, including the most severe charge, which was first-degree murder. It's a case that rocked the region. The guilty verdict comes after about an hour of deliberation for this jury, and also after testimony from Candace Craig's daughters, who Candace Craig actually accused of committing this crime. State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy saying that the jurors felt this case, quote, very deeply. Braveboy going on to say that she was devastated when she learned about the details of this case. Again, guilty verdict on all four counts for Candace Craig. Let's get a look at Candace Craig. Here's her mugshot when she was taken into custody during the incident. What we do know is that there's a massive amount of evidence, we're told, that went into this case. We're talking about more than 600 pieces of evidence. This case, we're told, crossed unit lines. Not only a homicide case, but a homicide case that involved the Special Crimes Unit. The victim, Margaret Craig, was 71 years old and was collecting Social Security and a pension, plus providing for her adult children, including Candace Craig, and also her adult daughter's boyfriend. Braveboy says Candace Craig absolutely committed this crime, and now she's being held accountable. Family members sat through 8 days of trial and looked at pictures of grilled body parts. Prosecutors say financial gain was the motive.
So this is a giving, caring, loving, compassionate, and understanding woman who was killed, who was asphyxiated by her daughter. And make no mistake, Miss Candace Craig absolutely committed this crime, and she is now being held accountable.
State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy going on to say that her office doesn't typically see many cases like this. It's also important to note that the victim's family did not want to speak on camera. Obviously, it's an emotional time, too torn to talk about the case. From here, Candace Craig will be sentenced. We are told that the State's Attorney's Office will be pushing for life in prison. Also important to note, Assistant State Attorney Shauna Coleman, who prosecuted this case, was one of the leads on this case, saying that this is a case that was close to her heart, telling us that her mother recently passed away. So this was a case that hit close to home.
Now to a Fox 5 exclusive out of the district. The family of a popular DJ is speaking out after police say he was robbed. Fox 5's Shamari Stone shares the details.
Brian Smith's mother and boyfriend are worried. They tell me he is in a coma in the ICU at a hospital, and they are by his bedside. He was walking out here on the 500 block of T Street Northwest early Sunday morning when police say two suspects robbed him after he got off from work DJing. Tonight, police releasing these grainy surveillance images of the two suspects and their car captured on nearby cameras. Officers found Brian Smith unconscious with serious injuries, blood on his nose and hands around 5 o'clock in the morning this past Sunday. His family says the suspects beat him, stealing his phone and wallet containing credit cards. Tonight, police are investigating to see if Brian got the injuries during the robbery, but his mother and boyfriend say he did, and they want your help catching the suspects.
I'm a little heartbroken, but I have to keep my wits about me and just be strong for him and, you know, keep everything in a positive moving direction, and so that way he can fight and be strong for us. You know, I just want them to get caught and stop.
Tonight, Fox 5 has learned that police say the two suspects are also connected to 3 more incidents. Take a look at this map. After they allegedly attacked Brian Smith on the 500 block of T Street Northwest around 5:50 a.m., they beat up and tried to rob some people on the 1900 block of 14th Street Northwest. And just 5 minutes later, police say the same suspect robbed someone on the 1800 block of Vermont Avenue Northwest, and then on the 900 block of Rhode Island Avenue Northeast around 7:30 Sunday morning. Police want your help catching the suspects. If you have any information on this case, give them a call. There's a reward of up to $1,000 for information that leads to an arrest and a conviction. In Northwest DC, I'm Shamari Stone. Back to you.
Over in Maryland, police say senior citizens scammed a woman out of tens of thousands of dollars. They're accused of doing it with what's called a pigeon drop scam. Fox 5's Josh Rosenthal explains.
This is a cautionary tale with some twists and turns that you might not expect. Police say these four people, some of whom are seniors, are suspected of stealing $40,000 from an elderly victim. They also tell us the scheme is an example of what's called a pigeon drop scam. Here's the deal. We're told that last week the victim called 911 and said that a man and a woman had approached her outside of a business in District Heights. Investigators say the suspects told the victim that they had found a bag of money. They then convinced the victim that instead of turning the money into police, they should donate it to charity. Then we're told the alleged scammers got the woman to withdraw money from her account, telling her that way the newly withdrawn bills couldn't be traced. Over 2 days, the victim withdrew the $40K, which the suspects then stole. Police say they ultimately tracked the suspects down in a parking lot in Clinton, and get this, at the time, they say these alleged schemers were approaching another elderly woman.
I think the biggest thing that everybody has to be uniquely aware of is if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
I know some people are going to hear this and say, oh, how could you fall for that? But the fact of the matter is a lot of people do fall for scams like this, correct?
That is true.
And in this case, Prince George's County Police believe that there are likely other victims out there. They're asking anyone who's been duped or has come into contact with these suspects to please give them a call.
Staying in Prince George's County, investigators there are trying to piece together how a car crash led to a shooting. One person is now dead, and police are still trying to figure out how this all escalated. Fox 5's Lily Zhang has this story.
Police say they have identified everyone who was allegedly involved in this incident. They say that no charges have been filed. Again, keep in mind this is a very active investigation. But here's what we know so far. We know that this all unfolded this past weekend. This is video that was recorded overnight Saturday by a man who lives near the intersection of Suitland and Randolph Roads. It was just before 1 in the morning when police said they responded to that intersection for a crash involving two cars. Now, before they got there, police said the situation apparently turned into a verbal and physical fight, and that is when we are told shots were fired. This afternoon, police confirmed 2 guns were recovered. They also identified the man who died as 38-year-old Joseph Holtz. Though authorities believe this was an isolated incident, people who live and work in that area say it doesn't bring them much comfort to hear of any kind of violence.
My message is, consider my home to be your home. Also the homes of your younger brothers and sisters who may need to go to school in the morning. Remember what it means, right and wrong. Don't do wrong. Don't do wrong. It hurts everyone within a great peripheral group.
Now, part of this investigation includes working with the state's attorney's office. Again, no charges have been filed.
Now to Virginia, where a woman killed in Prince William County earlier this year was allegedly part of a murder-for-hire plot. Fox 5's Soma Bash breaks down what exactly happened.
There are still a lot of questions as to why 23-year-old Egypt Carter was killed, but today investigators say 2 men were paid to end her life, and neighbors who have been following this case for nearly 9 months say it is a tragic update to learn.
I was leaving out to go to work 3 o'clock in the morning, and like I said, I seen police and ambulance, and then I heard the next day that somebody got killed, a young lady. And I'm devastated for the community. You see, there's a lot of kids around here. It's a good neighborhood. It really is.
These are the 2 people police say were involved in this murder, firing multiple shots while Carter was in her car around 2 a.m. on February 2nd of this year. 27-year-old Drew Buchanan was arrested on October 15th and charged with second-degree murder. 30-year-old Denzel Wade is still on the loose. Both are from Woodbridge. Detectives say the men did not know Carter, but Buchanan was hired by someone who did know her to murder her.
Thankfully, the person who is in custody is our shooter, and he was one that was solicited to carry out the act, while our second outstanding suspect was essentially with him at the time.
Buchanan is being held without bond. The search is still on for Wade, wanted for conspiracy to commit a felony. This happened in a quiet Woodbridge neighborhood off Bronson Court and Brickwood Drive. filled with young families who were concerned about such a violent crime so close. Police have been actively investigating this for 8.5 months, telling me they knew this was an unusual case and not a random shooting fairly quickly, since nothing was taken or disturbed. A dog was with Carter in the car at the time, unharmed and taken to animal control. Carter used to have ties to this area, but was living in North Carolina at the time. It is still unclear why she was here that night. Prince William County Police telling me they're expecting to charge more people in this case, likely the person who hired this hit to begin with.
Well, that does it for this week's Crime in the DMV. Stay ahead with Fox 5 right here on Fox Local. We'll have more updates next week.